Hi darlings, this is Christina at Makeup Box FYI, and today I have a few palettes I need to talk about. I got two palettes, beautiful palettes, two different brands, so without further ado, let's get into it. You know, Mama Pat came out with a new palette. Luxe Eyeshadow Quad in Passion Fleur. Colors are beautiful, but I will tell you, one of the main things that caught me for this particular palette was I missed out on the Star Wars Smugglers Spice, the small little pot, and I was so sad that it never came back. So anyways, I decided to try this one because it has a very similar shade, which I'm going to show you. So this is different. It's the pink beautiful palette from Pat Mcgrath. Gorgeous. I love this like warm toned pink, and I love. So these are the colors. We have Show Skin Pink Dawn here. We have Rose Fire Glow. We have Plum Nocturne and Sienna Moonlight here. And this one here, the Rose Fire Glow, is the thing that caught me actually. And I tried to compare it to my other Pat Mcgrath palettes because I do have some with this shade, at least one of them. But I will do a comparison when we get to that point. But let me kind of swatch them for you. These are the shades, so very pretty. I will say I was surprised that there were none of her special shades in this palette, but still very pretty. I like it a lot. I haven't actually tried it on my eyes. This is the first time we're going to do it, you and I, today. So let's just start. Since our transition shade is this plumish color, I kind of want to get a less packed, a little looser shadow brush. So I'm going to use this one. This is my Sonia something K, what is it, Sonia Cusick, and this is from Target. I got this a while ago. You know what, first, you know, I should do some type of base. So the Complexion Touch Water Fresh tint, because I want to try out a new brush for our foundation that I bought recently, so I'm going to use this. So this is the Cle De Peau concealer brush. Now, I was very interested in it, trying some of their brushes because they got some good reviews, and yes, overpriced, absolutely, but for quality, you know, it's a tool. I will invest in that so that my makeup application is, you know, even more improved. And what I like about this, because I've only tried it one time, it's very soft to the touch. I have a few concealer brushes that I didn't spend very much on at all, and the quality is different. You know, this one had Japanese inspired crafting these brushes, and I love that because I love the Rephr brushes and all of that. So I thought I'm gonna give them a try. Like, what's the worst that could happen, right? So put a little base there. Now let's start with that Plum Nocturne. That's a nice color. It blends out pretty nicely. Her darker shadows sometimes are a little hard to blend. I find this one's like really creamy, very easy. I'm just like dusting it on, you know, the outer side. And I'll do two different colors. Like, I want to try two different options of colors. So I'm going to stop there with that one, and then I want to pack this color here, this Fire Rose Glow, on top, because I kind of want to do just a plum look. That's pretty. This dispenses the color very well with your just finger. It's very pretty. It's a fire coral, so it's a bright coral pink. It's very pretty. Very pretty. So that is that so far. Another smaller brush, and I'm going to take this color here and put on the inner corner. Just to brighten up that area a little bit. And I'll go back into that Plum Nocturne. And just bring it up just a little. Give it a little more depth, a little more dimension. This is a MAC, I think it's 210 or something. Anyway, it's an eyeliner brush because I want to do it really tight to the waterline. This plum color. Very nice. So that's very nice, this color. This whole combination is really pretty. I really like that. Okay, and since Plum is our only transition shade, and I want to primarily use this palette alone, I'm still going to use this as the transition color. I'm going to use some other color options. I'm going to use that pink color over top. So I'm going to use this color here. Pack a little more of that purple here. And I use that same Nocturne under here. Very close to the lash line. And I want to use this also as like an eyeliner. I think it's very soft, very feminine, beautiful choices of color. I want to go over, first we're going to finish this look. I'm going to go over a couple of options in regards to what may be similar in Pat McGrath family. But overall, I absolutely love these colors. I think they're so pretty. The pink actually surprised me. I like it a lot more than I really thought I was going to. And while the Rose Fire Glow isn't quite Smuggler Spice, it's definitely like more like a brighter coral color. It's very similar, and it'd be a really pretty, probably one and done look with a touch of like the Tom Ford Peach Dawn palette. I can already like envision it. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I actually did try that already. It was really pretty as a one and done shadow, which is more than one and done when you're using two palettes, but we're not gonna talk about that. So I'm gonna throw on some lashes, and then we have to get into the next palette so you can see all together, okay? All right, guys, BRB, the completed look with my mascara on. All I did was actually wet the brush a little to kind of make that Plum Nocturne a little deeper, and as you can see, it is such a pretty palette. If you have medium toned skin, green eyes, brown eyes, blue eyes, these colors are so fantastic. It's very versatile. So I actually like this a lot. Actually, this will probably be one I reach for quite a bit as summer is progressing. California, we finally got some sunshine. I'm so excited. So I will be pulling this out quite a bit. Let's actually put on my foundation before I change, and then we're going to go over similarities with the Pat McGrath palettes. Really truly B40 is my perfect color, but because I like to put the B30 under my eyes as a concealer kind of when my eyes get really dry, I combine it with the B50 because I bought this initially too dark because I'm not there yet. So I like to mix the two. I'm actually okay with it, but what I find with this particular foundation is that it's got these little micro particles, right? This one in particular is a little harder to blend with any brush that I've tried. It just still kind of leaves a weird residue, and I love this foundation, don't get me wrong, but it's not as smooth as the others. So I'm using the Cle De Peau foundation brush, and I was watching Angela Van Rose because I adore her channel as well, and I have for years. She recommended this brush. She said it was one of the best, so it piqued my interest as to this brush. So yeah, I'm going to try it. So I put it here, and I'm going to just pat it here. And see if it gives me the smoothness that it never actually does with any other brush that I have. And you don't need a lot, so I'm just kind of going back with this. It's slightly more coverage. No, not slightly. It is more coverage than the Water Fresh tint, which I still love. But this one just gives you a more flawless base. I thought I would test it on my worst foundation, you know, not my worst foundation because I love this foundation, but my worst kind of blending foundation, so that I can kind of, because if I can use on my worst blending foundation, then for sure I can use on my great one. So very impressed. I will link, of course, as I always do, everything I use down below. Feel free to peruse the links. I appreciate any support, as I am a small channel, and I appreciate every little thing, guys. We're gonna go into the Sublimage, and I use shade 32. So I still have a lot left. I typically just use the tip here, like the top of the concealer, because you don't need a lot, guys. It's so thick and it goes a long way. I'll pack this on. So you already saw me use this, but now I'm going to use it again with a more solid concealer, so you can see just how nicely it applies. This is actually a really nice concealer brush. Now, I was not really gonna pick this one up because I thought I just want to try the foundation one, but I got to thinking, like, I really don't have a good concealer like brush at all. You know, I've tried a few and I thought I liked them, but some of them are really rough, and you know, this is a very delicate part of your eye. And so I ended up just going back mostly using my finger, which is okay, but I feel like you can't get the product as, you know, as concentrated as you like without a brush. And so I'm just kind of patting it there and putting it on the places that, as you can see, this gives a really nice finish. I feel like really good. Like, it didn't crease. I don't see any creases here. And I do have fine lines, you know. I told you guys before, I'm 39 years old, so, you know, the aging process is happening. I welcome it, because the opposite of aging is that you're no longer breathing. So bring it on. I want all the birthdays possible, but of course we all want to age as gracefully as possible, right? So yeah, very impressed with these Cle De Peau brushes. I'm going to use them some more, obviously, but so far my first impression is 100% worth it. I know it's an investment, but if you want a nice seamless, easy blend, these two worked fabulously. Let me show you a little bit of a dupe, one that I'm thinking of right off the bat. The first one we're going to look at is the Celestial Divinity Luxe Quad. This is a couple years old. I don't think it's available anymore, but it was such a pretty palette. It's got a lot of corals. It has some pretty purples. I actually did a review on it when I first started this channel about a year and a half ago. So I'm going to compare it to like this pretty color. As you see, totally different shade of purple. Let me see if there's anything else. There's another purple here. That's the purple there. Not similar. And we're gonna do, this is her quad that has all the special shades. And so I'm gonna pull out this pink so you can see it next to it. Not similar, because this one definitely has the sparkle shade, as you can see, and it's more on the rose gold pink hue. And then the purple will look right here, and as you can see, also not similar. But I didn't think those were going to be that similar, but let me show you the one that is the most. It's going to be this one here. So this is the Rose Fired Nectar, And this is from the Voristic Vixen palette, which they repackaged kind of for like Lunar New Year holiday. But this is the one I thought that would be the most similar, but you can see it is totally different. So this color is definitely more tamed down, similar, but this one is sparkly first. Very sparkly, very sheen, gorgeous. This one's more muted, and it's definitely pulls a little more pink versus this one pulling a little more rose. Sorry, a little more orange. So Rose Fire Nectar, Rose Fire Glow, Rose Fire Nectar, so they are totally different. Okay, so I'm going to take this off so I can go over the next palette that I have to show you, but I love, and I'll be back, guys. Is that when I took off all my makeup, I realized I was looking very pale, and I realized I've been in the sun quite a bit these last few days, and it's been nice and sunny, like I told you, in California. So I have been enjoying mixing these two together, like I told you, the Complexion Touch Le Beige from Chanel, but I think B50 is more my tone now. So I don't know if you can tell, but my skin looks a little more even. Before I was looking a little bit pale, so I apologize in advance. I didn't realize I'd already had a nice little tan. Let's get to the good stuff. So I was in Sephora perusing and came across this. Now, because you know how I feel about the blushes. A little dry, not my favorite formula. I was very hesitant about the eyeshadows, but I was testing them, you know, swatching them on my hand, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is my perfect neutral palette. Yes, I love color. I love to play with it in eyeshadow, but I'm always on the lookout for a eyeshadow palette that's going to be like my one and done, almost my color eye, maybe a hint of something, just run out the door looking a little more put together, whether I put on a bright lip or not, just something very neutral. And I felt like Amber Pearl. So this Amber Pearl 423, it is the new formula. It's got this beautiful embossment, like the logo's actually larger. This is an older one. Now this is a limited edition one, but still, like, because it's, you know, the matted form, but look, all the Dior's were like this. Now it's different. So I thought that was very interesting. I hadn't noticed that they had made that slight change. It must be something they're going to start relabeling with everything, I would think. So pretty. So, you know, I'm like a medium skin tone gal, and as you can see, it's my perfect palette for neutrals. It's got these beautiful, warm, almost orangey tones, but not too orange. Oh, it is so pretty. So I wanted to show you guys what this looked like on me and how you can build it. I'm actually really impressed with this particular palette. So we're going to start with this color here. It's light, and it may be deceiving thinking that it's going to be too light, but it actually gives the nicest little sheen, and it is really nice transition color. So it is a little powdery, I'm not gonna lie, but as you can see, that one shade is a one and done color. So if you literally don't want to do anything else, you can throw this on, put some mascara on, put your bronzer, and be on your way. It's a satin formula for sure, but I don't know if you guys remember that store, that juice place, the Orange Julius drinks. They're like orange juices with some cream. They're really good. This color reminds me of an Orange Julius drink for whatever reason. So that is the first color. Then this color is almost exactly my eyelid color. So you see how it gives just a little bit more color. And it's so nice. I love this color. I've already worn this palette a few times this week, and I can say I am happily impressed. This is probably my favorite Dior palette, to be quite frank, that I've ever purchased, because I know that I'll get the most use out of this one just because of how versatile and how easy it is. Again, just a perfect, easy, beautiful color that looks like, you know, my eyes, but better, basically. Now I'm going to use my Sephora crease brush, and I'm going to go into this color here. It's a nice brown color. Now I'm just going to go in the corner here. It's a little powdery because you're seeing all the kick up that's coming off my that's on my face. So perhaps don't do your foundation when you're first using it, because look, you can see all the kick up, and that's probably because of the new formula. It's formulated without the talc and certain other ingredients. It's supposed to be more natural, so I'm assuming that's why it's a little more kick up than normal, because I've never seen this much kick up in a Dior palette before. But as you can see, like, the colors still blend very nice. Now I feel like I'm losing this brown slightly, just a little, like I'm trying to build it on the outer corner, but everything's kind of still coming out very warmish, orangey-ish, you know. I'm losing this brown for sure. This is the Sephora Pro brush, and I've had a really good luck with using this to build things up. Just kind of dust myself off because I'm feeling like it's looking a little crazy. Now there is this beautiful pale color that I like to use as an inner corner highlight because it's just bringing a little more light to the eyes, and I love that. Here's a little, you know, inner highlight. And don't be afraid of these little brushes that it comes with, because I found that when I couldn't find my brush that I normally use for my inner corner, which is the rougher 23 brush, this worked fabulously to just distribute it in just the right part. See? It distributes so nicely. So there's that. Looks really good. This one is a topper shade. Now, it's not going to be super shimmery, but it gives a nice little glaze to the eyes. So I'm just going to pat it with my finger because I like how it applies that way. It's not going to be super sparkly. This is not your Pat McGrath, okay? But it is very pretty nonetheless. Gives a little something something. So either you can put it over top, or like I like to do sometimes is put it, layer it over that white part on the inner corner, because that's really pretty too. Now what I haven't done is use a little spray to wet it and see how that looks, if it's like a wet to dry formula. So yes, it does. I mean, most sparkly shades are going to look even better when you wet them. Ooh, this is pretty. It's almost like an oyster color. Oh, I love that. Makes me love the shimmer even more. It's not super sparkly, right? But this is a pretty, pretty color. So you can see the difference. So let me show you this eye here. This is with it wet, right? And then let me put a little here so you can see how it looks when it's not. Oh, this is with the wet, and this is with you just patting it with the standard color with no wetness. But you can see how different it is, like how much more of a pretty oyster color. That's all I can think of. It's like a pretty oyster color, and I'm in love with that. It makes me love it so much. G smudger 2, and I'm going to use these two colors here under my under eye, just to kind of marry all the colors together. This is the final look, and this is with the color Amber Pearl. What do you guys think? Great. I love, 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 love all the colors. All the colors. The brown, it disappears, but you know what? It's okay. The brown wasn't the reason I bought it. I've got plenty of pigmented browns that I can use if I really want to lean into that. I really like the overall simplicity, the ease, and this is a beautiful, like, everyday hot summer, warm, you know, while we're in the summer months. It gives you that warmth without being too much and very carefree. So I love, love, love this. Okay, I'm gonna finish up. I'm gonna put some lashes on, my liner, my bronzer and all that, come back and go over everything. Okay guys, BRB. All right, darling, so I finished everything. I put my lashes on, I did my Hermes bronzer and Atlas, I did my Dior, my favorite luminizer in Coral Glow, with a little touch of the Chanel Peche Rosé, which was part of their last year's collection in like the spring. It's beautiful. And I wanted something very light, very airy, so I felt like that was the perfect combination. Now, what I didn't do is show you swatches, and I'm going to swatch this also against the most recent Tom Ford Peach Dawn. So let me show you once again. So let me just get a few swatches. There's the peach color. Well, they're all kind of peach, but this color. Let me swatch this here. Okay, and then the lightest color. I'll use my thumb for. I'll put it right on the top. So those are the colors, okay? And you can see it against my skin, how this looks. So it's a very neutral palette, very neutral indeed. Tom Ford Peach Dawn, that's 41. Okay, so you see these shades are very metallic. Okay, so I'm going to swatch these two. I'm going to put them on the bottom of my hand, and then these two. So just so you can have an idea, these last four are the Tom Ford quad, and the ones above here are the Dior. So you can see they lean, this one leans very orange peach, exactly to what it's saying, like the actual name of this palette it definitely embodies. Whereas the amber pearl, I feel like I don't get a lot of amber from this palette, but I definitely get that pearlesque, warm, slightly peachy tone, but you can see very different. I think it's a great palette if you're looking for a neutral. I can't say enough about it. In regards to the Pat McGrath palette, I love this one as well. As you can see, like I have a thing for peaches and things of that nature, but we're talking about two different type of palettes. We're talking a neutral, and then we're talking a really fun, colorful palette. I think they're both nice, and I think they both. Okay, darling, so I'm not sure I left off because my battery died on me, but overall, love the palettes. I think they're both very beautiful, very complimentary. Two different looks, two different vibes, but love the Cle De Peau brushes. I think foundation brush and the concealer brush are definitely worth the investment. Darlings, I will see you guys next week. Got some new stuff, so can't wait. I hope this helped. I hope it helped you make a decision if this is something you're interested in looking into, any of these things. That's what I'm here for, to help you decide if this is something you truly need to add to your makeup repertoire. So I hope you have a great day, a wonderful week, and I'll catch you in the next ones. Bye.